Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? Yes, it is. Oh, time. How y'all doing today? Hopefully doing pretty well. We are continuing on our platformer. This is essentially day 2 of programming, or day 3 if we include the like the planning, like the first day of planning, and also the we did some CI/CD stuff. And then after the stream yesterday, I realized that I kind of was ignoring one of the biggest tools that I have that I made specifically for using this, which was making it a lot harder for me to do. Like, this draw system is like owning all this stuff. That's completely wrong. Like, what am I even thinking? No. We need to pull in BBECS and use it from the beginning. All of this stuff goes in here. Everything. Now, what I mean by that is the text for what we're going to put in here. So if we run this to sort of like show off what this title screen looks like. So name of the game here, play, and settings. These 3 things, they have to go inside of our they're going to go inside of the, what do we call it? The world. Okay, so that's been brought in. Let's go ahead and store our world inside of here. So we're gonna have a world, which is a BBECS world, and we're gonna create a new one. New world, what am I thinking? What language am I programming? World new. And then we'll just store this away. Okay, so if I want to set up like the world to actually have all of these things in it, let's do like the new game, like the game title. I think we're calling it like no game title, right? Oh, we're passing that in, aren't we? Game name there. If we come back to main, name of game goes here. Okay. Okay, so if we're gonna have something like game name goes here, I actually don't know if we want to put this here then. It might be better because like this draw systems should not have this game name being passed in. So like this is a big no-no. I sort of feel that we're gonna want to start over with this title screen draw system. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it. And which means that in draw systems mod, we're not gonna have you. We're not gonna have either of you here. We're not gonna like match navigation. I don't think we're gonna have to do that here. I think for like the draw systems, it's gonna be very different. Now with draw queued text, I'm actually curious what happens if we try to run draw queued text when there is no text to draw. Is that going to error out? Probably. I'm guessing we're going to get an error out of here. Let's go ahead and, oh wait, before we even try that, we have to come back to the main library. Don't throw in the game name. Okay, just a bunch of warnings. If we run you, oh, it doesn't error out. Oh, that's really good to know. So even though we're running the draw systems here, so I'm actually thinking that instead of like draw systems like that, we're probably gonna have systems, like some kind of systems manager. So I'm even like all for just resetting this and just saying, you know what, that it was an interesting idea. We're not going to use that as is because it's going to be very different once we start using the world, which we should have started from the beginning. So we're not going to have any of you, because when we run the systems, we could have some kind of a systems manager that handles that. Okay, so that means we don't have to have the game name passed in here, which means main is unhappy, but that's because we'll probably pass it into setup. All right, so what are we gonna do here? What are you upset about? We should add a default. Well, I guess there's no reason we can't add a derived default right now. Okay, and then it's just those things are not being used. Navigation, I believe we're still going to need navigation eventually, but... Oh, my tea finished brewing. The first thing we're going to want to do is load. We're going to load the... let's see, what is it? We're going to load the screen for... We're going to load the title screen. And do I want to do that directly? Or I think I want to actually set up the proper architecture for the event system. Because we learned last time that we really need to have some kind of like event handling system in order for everything to become decoupled, and we just send events out. So we can send event where we are navigating to the title system. And as soon as like something sees, like the, I don't know, like our world sees that, our level system sees that, we then clear the world and then load the title system. That's what I'm thinking. Because it could be listening for that and we just have it updating. Okay, so I think that's what we want to do is we're gonna actually, like, we're taking a step backwards, but that's just because I was on the wrong path. We're going to work on our event handling system now. So I don't know if I need this to, I can't remember if I need this to be a some kind of a folder with like multiple things in it. We might want to just to have events separate. So yeah, let's have a folder. I guess we could have this like as events. So in here, we're going to have a mod.rs. We're probably also going to have like an events.rs, but we'll leave that in a bit. In our main library, I have a mod events. So let's do our, I don't want to call it event handler because we already have something for that. So let's see, we could call it like the event system. Maybe the event manager for right now until I have a better word for it. Now we remember that the big part about this is going to be you can subscribe, you can pub and sub to the events that you want to get access to. And then we're just going to send channels to whoever, you know, wants to be part of this. So import the event manager. We'll have a pub function new, which will just return itself. So that's gonna be it for right now, but we'll have to deal with this later. Sort of like add in the things that we care about. that allows us to come back to here and store it away. Okay, so it's stored away, although we're not using it yet, so oh, we need to have a default on that too. Okay, that makes sense. Since we have a default, then what we can do is just in new, we're gonna return self default right now, and then if that changes, then we'll be able to sort of like update that here. Okay, so now the event nav, we do need a loading system too, don't we? So this is gonna be like loading the home page. We also need an event. So we can go ahead and create our first event now because we know exactly what that's going to be. So our first event is going to be, we're navigating to, I guess it's going to be like navigating to. And then that's where this stuff comes in. Navigating to title screen, navigating to settings. Now I could have this store this navigation enum in here. So that way we know which one we're going to. We don't really have much other than that in here. So like I don't have like the history, which is probably what we're gonna care about once we have that. Okay, so if we navigate to, let's go, what is this called? Just navigation. So we're gonna hold a navigation. Okay, so we're gonna need to, in our main library, we want to just like right away in setup here, we're going to just publish essentially, hey, this event is happening. Like we're going to this one. So we have to set ourselves up as a publisher of events. So how do I want to do this? You're gonna be a, what would we call this? Like we're, we don't want to, like, it's not subscribe as publisher. We don't necessarily want to pub right now. What we want to do is we want to get the channels. Oh, which means we need Crossbeam. So let's pull in Crossbeam too. Let's register. We're gonna register as a sender. So So we're going to register as a sender. We don't necessarily care what the event is that we're going for. So I don't think we need necessarily like a name for this. But we're going to return a... I don't think we need to return a result with this. We're going to return a sender because we can have multiple of those. So it's going to be a sender, which is a crossbeam channel sender. And this is going to have an event inside that they're going to be sending. So we have let, we have the sender, receiver, where's oh, it's unbounded. We want a crossbeam channel unbounded. Crossbeam channel unbounded, so we can send as many as we want per frame. And then we're going to return the sender. Now, interesting here, we need to keep this receiver. And we don't actually want multiple of these, do we? So in this case, we know we actually need to like have the one receiver for all of our events. So this is going to be event receiver is going to be a crossbeam channel receiver, event inside. For new, I don't think default can handle that. Yeah, default can't handle that. So we can't derive a default, but we have to for the other one. So we'll just go ahead and impl default for event manager. All right, so we're gonna do let so at this point, I don't know if we need like a new. It does seem to be like pretty standard practice that like new and default do the same thing. If we don't do this, you know what? I'm just gonna skip the default part. I'm gonna come back here and just say, you know what? You're gonna not derive default anymore. Instead, we're gonna say let. We're gonna move this let sender and receiver up here. Then we can do. We also want the event sender to be a sender with event inside of it. We're going to store both of these away. And then that way here in register, all I'm going to do is just return a clone of self.event sender. I think I have to clone it. You're not going to... Yeah, you don't have a copy trait, so we're going to clone you. Okay, so perfect so far, and that means here in setup, we have our event manager. We can then get the I guess we want to just store this away. Might as well, right? So event sender is a crossbeam sender. These events in it. You don't really need to be. So register doesn't really need to be mutable, does it? We can just have a reference to self. Then in here, let event sender equals our event manager. We're going to register. That gives us the sender. And now we can store this away. So event sender. So the first thing we want to do once we're in setup is we want to send the event that we're in like the main loading page. So what would that look like? In here, we're going to do a self.event sender.send event navigating to navigation title screen. And then this, I think, yeah, that returns a result. So we can question mark U. So we've sent the event. Now we need some kind of like system to listen to that, to catch that eventually. But I guess like the other thing is we need to be able to update. We want to be able to update the event manager in such a way that it can now handle these events or like process the incoming events. So what would that be? Probably, let's see, pub function, maybe something like process events. Probably process, like event manager dot process makes the most sense here. This is definitely going to be mute self. We're probably going to have to return a result, but I don't think we have to return anything inside of it. So we're just doing it for the question mark ability. All right, so what do we want to do here? In process, we're going to read through all of our events. Do I want to do this? Oh, I think we can get an iterator, right? Can I get an iterator of the events? Self dot event receiver dot iter. So we can do a try iter. So it doesn't block for these events. Yeah, it never blocks waiting for the next message. Each call to next returns a message if there is one ready to be received. The other choice that I have is I can just do a loop. That might make sense too. So if I just do an infinite loop here, and we're going to get the message. So if let, I think it's a result. Let's actually take a look at that. We're going to do a self.receiver dot try recv. This returns a result. So question mark that. This can be an if let okay. Event comes in. You're not telling me. Mismatch types expected an enum event. Found a result. Oh, right. I don't want to question mark that. Okay, so if we have an event coming in here, then we want to store that event away, don't we? If we don't have one, we want to break. Like we're done here. Oh, while let. Try it. While let okay. I don't know if I've tried that before. Oh, while let okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. So we have this event, we need to store them away. So like one option is I can just store all the events in some kind of like vector and we just send them out to anybody who's listening. Or we let you hub just to, or we let you subscribe just to the events that you care about. Well, we have this event here. If we have like the actual events stored and we have them be like a hash map with strings, a string as like the key, and then a vector of all of the senders that we want to send to, that could work for this. Let's do that. So we're gonna have the subscribers. I guess it's gonna be like the events. The events themselves. Gonna be a hash map. We're gonna have a string for what this is. And then we're gonna have a vector of channels to send to. So this is gonna be sender or event. Oh, colon, no, equal. There you go. So you figure out what that is. You implement default. We have nothing in there yet. Okay, so that's fine. Register, we don't do anything, but in process, we do. So for each of these events, we need to grab out like a stringified form of what that event is. Well, to me, that's strum. We want strum. A lot of these macros for dealing, okay, so we want strum and strum macros. That's what we want. Then in our event, for this enum here, we can derive toString, I think. I have to wait until Rust Analyzer loads these all. Almost done. toString. Oh, you can't figure that out. Fine. we're gonna use strum to string, like that. So that's gonna allow me to do a toString off of here. Maybe all I need is the strum macros, not strum. Okay, so then back to here. I want to get the string of the event that's coming in. So like the stringified event. The event is the event.toString. And like, I really love strum because that's what it gives us, is we now can just run toString on it. I don't have to like create a macro or any other funny stuff to get that. There's also a toStir version, which can be really helpful too. And we might end up implementing that just for other purposes. Okay, so we have used this to get the stringified event from this. Now we want to get an entry into events, so that way we can add this in, right? So we're gonna do self dot events. We do an entry. The key is gonna be this stringified event, or default. And this is going to be the subscribers. So we're going to get, so it's going to check to see, is there a key for a stringified event? If there isn't, create one. If there is, if there isn't, create one and then set the value to be default. Well, value default is going to be just an empty array, empty vector. So that's simple. And if there is, just give me the one that's there. So nice. Then we get to this point. Okay, so subscribers. So now we have that. We want to send out to everyone who is in here what happened. Actually, is this the point that we create this? I almost feel that it's not. Like, I feel at this point, at register, we're gonna create, okay, at register, we're gonna say, all right, we're gonna add you in as a listener. But as we're just gonna have to get the subscribers. So I just wanna get, don't I? So we just wanna get, so in this case, I don't want a toString, although that's probably gonna come later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and keep that in here. We want, there's also a toStir, I think. Oh, as ref string. As ref string. And then back to here. So hold on, we're gonna have to reset this a little bit. So we're gonna do event that. Is it as ref? You don't seem to be working. What do you need to be? So as ref string. So grab that over. Okay, so it's just as ref. Dot as ref. Okay, so exactly like that. You can't find that. So event. Oh. It would be helpful if I added it in, wouldn't it? Okay, so now we know that this is a reference to a str. So now we can do a if let sum. This is going to be the subscribers equals self.events dot. So really, this is like the subscribers. This is a list of subscribers. So I'm going to change your name to subscriber. Like this is the event subscribers. Yeah, let's call this event subscribers. Self dot event. Oh, event subscribers. Okay, so self.event subscribers dot get. So in this case, I can just do this straight in here. I don't need that intermediary step. All right, so now we have let some subscribers in here. If there are subscribers, then we now want to send this event to them all. So we're going to do a subscribers dot send. Oh wait, we want to loop through them. So subscribers dot iter. I don't remember if it needs to be. I think it does need to be mutable, which means you need to be mutable here. Get mute. So iter mute. We can do a try for each. I can't remember whether or not this will work for that. This will be a subscriber. And then we're going to subscriber dot send the event. Now this event, we need to make sure it implements clone or copy. And I think then you can return that. Event, okay, so move, you must implement clone or copy. So easy enough to add in here. Clone, copy. Now by doing that, navigation is going to have to do that too. So navigation, derive, clone, copy. All right, so this is going to send all of them out to whoever is listening. Now we don't have any listeners yet, but we're going to come back into the main library now, and in update, we're going to then just run this process. It's going to be one of the first things that happens. So this will be self dot our event manager process. We do have to unwrap this because we're returning a game result and not a result. Not an error result. Okay. Be happy. It really wants me to like implement a default for this. Let's see. navigate. So we have navigation, we have world. So we now ascend. Okay, we're navigating to this world here. We now need a system to subscribe to this world. Subscribe to that event. So that way it can load. So we need like a loading system. And depending upon like if we do a navigating too, it's gonna then go ahead and load the like reset the world and like load all the things into the world for us. What should we call that? Like world loader? Scene loader? Maybe scene? It could be like a scene manager. I could see it being like a folder with multiple things in there just because there's a bunch of different stuff and it's just listening to the events. And that being said, if what we're caring about is like maybe we just have like a very specific system for loading the so probably have like a mod. So we're gonna have like a loaders like scene loaders. I don't like the word loader. It feels wrong. I don't know what else to use right now, so like as soon as we use it more, maybe we'll understand what it is really. Mod loaders. Do I want this to be a struct that just like hold all the loaders? Probably, because we're gonna have to run it, and or is this gonna be just like, is this folder really just exposing all the different loaders that are happening? I kind of like this being a struct that's gonna hold all the loaders together, and then it's gonna run. So we just have like one run from our main update instead of like 1,000 runs from there. So you're gonna be so we'll just derive default. Then we have to have our loaders in place. So loaders are loader. Yeah, it feels like this is gonna be like a loader manager, isn't it? Let's go ahead and rename you to manager. Okay, so we have that set up. Now, the first thing that our loader manager wants to do here, and we can do this in setup, is it's gonna want to register. It's gonna want to subscribe to the events. Specifically wants to subscribe to the navigating to event. So if we have like a setup inside of here, when we subscribe, we're gonna get a receiver for that. So we'll have like an event receiver. It's gonna be a crossbeam receiver for event. Now I know we're implementing default, but this won't work anymore. So we can just impl default for loader manager. All right, so how's this gonna work? We're gonna get this event receiver. Well, the only way we can get this event receiver is if we have something being passed into us, which means we can't implement default for it. It's just impossible. We have to impl loader manager. In here, we're gonna pass in the event system. Event manager. So you're going to be a mutable reference to the event manager. I don't think we need to return a result for this. It'll just be self. Let our event receiver is going to equal to the event manager dot we want. Okay, so we want to now subscribe. We don't have a subscribe yet. So let's add that in. So we're going to subscribe to a specific event, and this is going to have to be that string. So the event that we want to subscribe to, which is going to be a string. I don't remember if we need to do a result, but we do definitely need to return a receiver. The event inside. All right, so here now, what if I want to like access multiple events with one of these? This should be a vec of string. So the events to subscribe to, we want to then loop through these. So we can do a for each. So events to subscribe to, I think we just need to iter. We can actually take ownership of this. So we can do like a to iter. Why are you not letting me do it like a to iter? Okay, what did I do wrong? You're there. You're a vector of strings. Because I can't do like for each. Oh, into iter. That's what I want. Into iter. Then we can do a for each. Again, I still don't think it needs to be a try. So for each, this is now going to give us the event to subscribe to. So you're a stringified event. Okay. So once we have this, I then want to, then we're going to do that entry thing. So we're going to do self.event subscribers.entry. The key is going to be the stringified event. or default. So we have this list of subscribers here. Now we can push into that list of subscribers. We're going to want to create our receiver and senders. The event. So in this case, I think we just call this the sender receiver. This is where we do this crossbound. We do this again. And then once we have you, we're going to push. So subscribers, push a sender. We have to clone you. Now we know exactly what that is. And at the very end, we return the receiver. So that way we say, okay, however many events you want to subscribe to, we're going to create a list of vectors. So we're going to create a vector of those events if they don't exist already and add you to the list. And so that way this one receiver will get all of the events. So it's a single sender essentially cloned across them all. And that way we don't have to create like 15 senders and receivers in the case you want to subscribe to multiple events. It just, that's the one. So now back to our loaders. This event receiver, we can now register, we can now subscribe. So our event receiver equals the event manager. We're going to subscribe. Now the event we want to subscribe to is going to have to be event navigating to I think, let's see, navigating to navigation title screen. So we do that, we get this receiver, and then we can turn a self with this event receiver inside. Oh, right, you need to be a toString. And not only that, you're a vector of these. Okay, so back to our loader manager. We can't do default, so we're going to do a new. We have to pass in a mutable reference to event manager, which means you need to be mute here. Okay, perfect. Everything is still going fine. Now, in update, so we need to update and like basically run this loader manager so that it can receive what these events are. What is that going to be? That's in our loader manager. Probably just an update. We're gonna have to check all the events that were coming in. So we'll do that while let. So while let. Okay, and this is gonna be the event that we're getting equals self dot event receiver dot try rec v. So we get this event out. Now what do we do with it? We get our event depending upon which event it is. So we could match on the event. So if we're navigating to, this could probably be an if let also here, can't it? Because we're really going to be navigating to and then matching inside. So if let what is it? Event navigating to, basically this is our target, equals event let. Okay, so now we have this navigation here. Now we can match on the target. Now we know, like, okay, which one are we gonna do? We're navigating to the tile screen, so time for us to probably run like the load title screen function. I suppose for right now, I could just have this be a private function in here. Load title screen. I don't know if this needs to be mute self, but we're gonna need the world in here. So mutable reference to the world, which means this needs to be pulled in here too. We're almost certainly gonna have to return a result. So then here we can just do a load title screen and pass in a mutable reference to the world. And question mark U. Which means we can come back up to the main library, and after the event manager processes, we can now run self.loadermanager.update, pass in a mutable reference to self.world, unwrap U. So it might feel like this is pretty, like, this is a lot of like overhead type work. The decoupling things, the decoupling work we're doing right now is going to make things a lot simpler in the future when we're having like tons of events being passed around. And these are all lessons that we learned in like the previous games that we were making in the simulations. So it's not like I'm also just like sort of making this up as you know, as I go along. This is all things that we learned. Yeah, having this actually helps out a lot. And make things a lot nicer. So if we're now loading, so at this point in time, now we can load things into the world. Now we're gonna have to do probably register first, but so like what's the big thing for this? We need to load that actual name of the game, which means that should probably be a resource that gets thrown into the world. So let's actually add that as a resource. We can do that in setup too. So we can do self dot world dot add resource. Okay, so what is the name of this resource? I'm just gonna put the strings in here until I figure out where I want to throw these. Perhaps just having them be as strings might be okay. I've tried enums before. I just didn't know where to send them, like where to store them like properly. Although having strum now is super helpful for that. Okay, so in this case, this is going to be the game name. So the game name, I mean, this could even just be game name like that, but so game name, I'm going to owned you. Actually, can I just do an into? I think I can, because that's going to turn it into a string that it needs. And then the data, it's a generic, so like whatever the data is going to be, this is, I think, just going to be a string. So we already, this is where the game name is going to have to be passed in. The game name is a stir. So game name. We're also going to do a dot into. It's not going to be able to figure out what that is. So let's just do it to owned to turn it into a string. So that way we know that game name is a typed string. All right. So then in main, in setup now, this is when we're going to pass in game name. Now in loaders, so in load title screen, we need to grab that game name out of there. So let's see, how do we do that again? That's I forgot. There is a macro for that. There's this get resource macro. Oh, I added documentation. How nice of me. I love it when I do that for like future me. I usually appreciate it. Okay, so we have get resource. Okay, we create our variable, and then we can pass that in here into this variable here. So this is going to be the game name. So that game name, and we know exactly what this is. This is a type string. Oh, and I think when we get it out, it's never like the actual string itself. Is just going to be a reference to the string. So a stir like that. Then get resource. We pass it in this variable, the world, a mutable reference to the world. Do we pass in a clone of the world? Seems odd. Okay, so game name, the world, and then what we're looking for. So in this case, if we remember back, it is this game name. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So then I want to just debug out here this game name. I want to see that actually worked. No method named cast for stir. Oh no, we have to pull in. We have to pull in the resource. Okay. And you don't know what to do. So this is the cast. Okay, so we want to use yes. This is resources. Resources data. Resource cast. That's what I want. Let's see. The size for values of type stir cannot be known. So it doesn't like this. You have to be string? You do, okay, so I have to do this weird like string thing because of like the way I'm using the macros. I haven't figured that out yet. Okay, so then back to you. We haven't run this in a while, so I just want to see whether or not this works. Here we go. We got the name of the game, got printed out of the loaders. So that's pretty awesome that I was able to do that much programming and it just worked. So if we have the name of the game here, we can now insert, like we can start inserting things into the world, like create an entity in this world. So what is that going to look like? We're going to say a world dot spawn entity. And then we have these with components. And so we're gonna have like the component names that we care about. So what is this gonna be? We had like the game name as a resource, but I think that's because like we're now going to spawn a component, and the component is going to be that title that goes up atop. So that's going to be a text. So this is going to be essentially like title text. We can even just do this as title. You need to be you're a stir. Okay, so that's fine. And then the data, we only have like certain types of data that we can handle. And I think we need to create a text. So we're gonna first start with the title. We're gonna create a text fragment first. So new, we're gonna make this from a dereferenced game name because it takes in a string. Actually, it might be able to do this from that. It can't. Okay, so we're gonna dereference it to get the string out. That gives us this title, which is a text fragment. But then we can start doing these fun things to it. So color. We're gonna make this white. Font. We're probably gonna create, like just use the default font, but we can totally set whatever the font we want in here. So scale. This is gonna be a scale uniform. Let's just do 72 right now. But if we don't like to use like a specific number like this, it would be easy for us to come back to our main library. We have this add resource, and we're just gonna start adding these resources. Like this is the only area where we have like magic numbers like that. So self.world add resource. This is going to be the title font size, and you need to be an F32. So let's do like 72.0 F32. Then in here, we're gonna do the same thing. So that title font size is gonna be a reference to an F32. Gonna get resource. So this is gonna be the font size, the world, and that. Then in here, we're gonna do a dereferenced title font size. All right, what's next? So we have scale. And I think that's it. So that gives us a text fragment. Need to pull in white. Then for this component, this data, we're just going to create a new text. Actually, I can just do this right here. Let's do a text. New. Like that creates a text in there, and then we're going to store away the title. All right, well, that gives us the title. Let's see, what are you upset about? Oh, cannot borrow world as mutable because it's also borrowed as immutable. And that's because we have these here, like with the game name and game title. So we need to drop, I believe we can just drop game name at this point. And we can also drop the title font size. Is that enough? $54. Wait, okay, so immutable borrow occurs on line what, 40? In this game resource, okay. I kind of want to maybe I just want to shadow these just immediately. Like name. Either shadow them or like create some kind of like helpers to grab this information out as owned. Because like if I do game name, that's all creating title. Cool. Can I do this in like in a block? So that title equals, create a block like this. For all of these in here. Then instead of creating a title like that, we just return this. Then I don't have to drop this anymore. Game name. Oh, okay. So game name, new. I guess I could just clone this. Yeah, that's what I needed to do. Now, this isn't really all that awesome. I think I really would like to create like helpers for this. Creating helpers for like extracting out the game name. So that way I don't have to do this entire thing. Or maybe like just making this a function all on its own. That probably actually makes the most sense. Like turning this into a function so I can like create the title from this. Which would be an indication that I should, instead of having just be like a single function load title screen, maybe load title screen should be like a struct, or a series of function in its own module, which like its own file. So that way it can like spread out, take some room. But this is the beginning. We can spawn this entity with this component. We can then, starting next time, start spawning in, like, give it a location. It already has like its own color. So if I have a location for it, it already has its size, then I can draw it. Then I can have like the draw system to display it. So we're gonna have to do that starting next time. I've got some, let's see, it's not stuff I need to worry about. You're not stuff I need to worry about. All right. It is after 8:15 though, so I don't want to necessarily like start working on this right this second. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I think we're in a really good spot, like starting to load this. I am going to want to eventually like pull this out, as I said, into its own struct. Probably create a helper for these names, like maybe an enum, or a series of enums for these. Just having like one mega enum was a little bit too distracting in asteroids. So we could have like a resources names enums, and then component names enum. Pull this out, create enums for this, and then create the draw system to actually start displaying out the title. So all we really need is like a text draw system. Like that's all we would really care about, right? Is we just want to like draw out anything that has a component name of title. And really, if we think about this, this is not going to be title. This is going to be text. Like we just want with a component text. Is that true? No. It's probably like a title, because then we're going to add another one of like the subtitle. If we have one, probably like, because then we have to have like the play. Oh no, because they would be separate components. They would be separate game entities. So this probably would be text. This probably would be just like text to display. So that's a game entity. That's a game entity. That's a game entity. That's what we're going to care about. Yeah, I think that's all we're going to deal with right now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the YouTube video here. Then we're going to save all this stuff up to GitHub, and then I'll shut the stream down. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next YouTube video.